going, D? What you gonna be doing, D? What up? I am a menace, a dentist, an oral hygienist. Yeah. I'm a lyrical, spiritual miracle, individual spiritual miracle. You're not a menace. You're a wonderful guy. Oh, that's so sweet of you to say that. You didn't have to say that, but you did it anyway. What a guy. It's super crazy to me how, like, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but like 10 degrees, right? That's the difference between this morning and like 5 days ago, right? So it's going to be 10 degrees warmer on average today than it was the last few times I've did these. And that doesn't seem like it's a whole lot of temperature swing, but it is. Like, it's the difference between sitting out here barely able to stay warm enough and sitting out here in a hoodie and being fine. Boom, 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 boom. Whoo! I'm gonna need a joint here pretty soon, probably. New t-shirt? That's not a t-shirt, bro. It's a hoodie. But you're a bot, so I'm not sure how to explain that to you. 01100001. Oh, you meant the DFF one? Oh, cool. You weren't talking about my flea circus. Yeah. Feast your eyes on the splendor of my flesh. Ding. How's my drug recovery going, dude? One day at a time, man. Bath salts are no joke, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Every once in a while, you know, it's been a year, and every once in a while I still get a craving to pour a bunch of bath salts in the bathtub and just have a fucking time, dude. Did you do the voice for that ad? I did, yes. I did do the voice for that ad. Feast your eyes upon the splendor of my flesh. See how it sways in the breeze. Yes, I did. I wrote that ad too. Wrote it and performed it in 30 minutes. Boop. Kick it. Kick it all the way out. Oh. Weed. Ooh, coffee. Ooh, coffee. Well, she won little coffee. Well, Bushi Juan Pabu. Paul's on his last fat leg. One last fat leg to go. Where I stop, nobody knows. Thanks. Yeah, we're doing a show today, so Amelia and I are going to do a little celebration this weekend. I'm gonna go on a movie date. I think I'm gonna go do dinner at a movie. Can I dunk? Hell yeah, I can dunk, dude. I can do a front flip dunk, double front flip dunk. Bam! He's heating up. Oh, oh, son of a bitch. Bro's better than LeBron. Yeah. LeBron ain't got shit on me, bro. Dude, I'd fucking snap LeBron's ankles. Dude, I'd break his ankles, bro. With the quick fucking left, right. That's all it takes. It's a little stutter step. Just left, right. Ankles. And I just go easy layup. LeBron ain't got shit on me, bro. I got moves, bro. I'm silky on the floor. I'm silky in the key, okay? Silky and smooth in the key. You can't fuck with me, okay? If I get in the key, you may as well just get out of the way. If I'm in the key. If I'm in the key, you get out of the way. Because I'm finna score. Says you wouldn't watch Don't Look Up Again. Yeah, you should watch it at least once. It's worth watching once. I don't think it's a movie you can like scalp a whole lot of second watch enjoyment out of, but maybe. Who knows? I can't. Boom. Boom 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 boom. Yeah. I play that 90s ball, dude. I play that Muggsy Bogues ball. Okay? I handle the rock like Muggsy Bogues. You can't handle that. You can't touch me. Can't feel me. And you 100% can't stop me. Just let me in the key. And it's over. Charles Barkley in the paint. Yep. Yeah. Wanted to talk a little bit about Ukraine this morning because it's such a hot button issue. One of the things, and I don't know how to bridge this gap with people rhetorically, is I will see people, and I think that this is just part of the information age, right? I will see people who have either lost their ability to connect with human experience or who somehow have separated their political argumentation from human experience. It's like, I wonder how many of the pro-Ukraine war continuing people, yeah, we should be continue arming Ukraine until there's literally nobody left in Ukraine that can fight people. I wonder if they would feel the same if they all did 1 week in the trench, hand them a gun, put them in a Ukraine military outfit, stick them in a trench, and let's see how they feel after a week. You know what I mean? And I don't know how to bridge that gap with people. It's like people are willing to treat human lives like numbers. Like numbers. I was reading a back and forth today between people who disagree about the Ukraine war, and one of them was like, you know, this is, like the Ukraine war is worth supporting because, it shows Russia that you can't just waltz in and take territory. And 500,000 Russian soldiers dead will make Putin think about it. And somebody else said, well, what about the 500,000 Ukrainian dead? And the person's response was, that's the way it goes. And I was just like, man, how do you get so functionally disconnected from reality? I just wonder. I wonder how many of these people would feel the same about war if it was their ass on the line and not some theoretical Ukrainian or Russian ass halfway across the world. You know what I mean? It becomes an entirely political cause where, hey, man, 500,000 people in the dirt, that's worth it. Got to break a few eggs, you know what I mean? And I just don't understand the humanity of that. I don't understand how you get so far afield from basic human interest in the preservation of human life that you find yourself making stupid statements like, you could break a few eggs, you know what I mean? That's what happens. And sometimes 500,000 people just got to die for a geopolitical goal, you know what I mean? This is what happens. And I'm just wondering, man, I would love like superpowers to be able to just travel around the internet, find one of these pro-Ukraine war people who are super happy to sacrifice the entirety of Ukraine and Russia's youth in a pointless war, stick them in a fucking military uniform, put a gun in their hand, and stick them in the dirt, stick them in the mud, stick them in a trench, and tell them, we'll be back to get you in a week. I wonder how profoundly that position would change in just a scant week. I wonder. I mean, maybe some of them would come back as gung-ho as ever. But I gotta believe that most of them, after experiencing what they advocate, would come home and be completely against sending another human being into that fucking meat grinder. Yep, drafted. I mean, I wouldn't say children, but young people. We're talking like college-aged people. 500,000 in Ukraine, 500,000 in Russia, dead in the dirt. 1,000,000 lives. 1,000,000 lives conservatively. 1,000,000 people that will never have children. 1,000,000 people that will never fall in love. 1,000,000 people that will never know the joy of figuring out who they are and what they want to do. 1,000,000 people. I don't know how you ever get past that. I don't know how you think about the geopolitics of the situation when you're talking about 1,000,000 people, but it's been months and months since they could point to a fucking poll that said that Ukrainian people support the war. Now a plurality of Ukrainians want an end to the war. And there are still motherfuckers talking about how they're willing to sacrifice Ukraine down to the last able-bodied human. And these are people that have probably never been in battle, probably never will be. It's all theory crafting to them, right? It's all theory class. It's numbers. That's an acceptable number of civilian casualties for a war like that. It's like, what? I just don't think they think about it at all. I think they've gamified politics to the point where this Ukraine war is just it's a chess piece for them. They get to move it around the board. Ukrainians deserve freedom. What were they supposed to do? They get to move it around the board to make excuses for perpetuating it. And it's like, if you want to talk with me about geopolitics, you're gonna have to meet me where I'm at. You know what I mean? That is where I'm at. There is nothing, no strip of fucking land, no geopolitical goal that's worth a million human beings to me. Nothing. There's no national identity. There's no people's desire for freedom that's worth a million fucking human lives to me. And I don't understand how people make that argument. Virtue signaling opportunity to support humble potato farmer stereotype in foreign land. It kind of feels that way. It kind of feels that way to me, honestly. Well, it seems on all sides you're surrounded by liberal-mindedness. Is there anyone else out there who shares your rhetoric besides TJ and Scotty? Maybe Kyle Kalinske? Not even really Kyle. I don't know. I guess that's maybe a blind spot for me, is I don't watch a lot of creators, and the ones that I do watch tend to disagree with me pretty roundly. So I don't know how that works. But the answer to your question is no. I don't know. I don't watch anybody that I feel like is a compatriot of mine in terms of my rhetoric and my positions. But I will agree with you on the liberal-mindedness point. I gotta show you guys this. I finally got it fixed. Got my little pot-bellied gas stove fixed over here. This thing just like radiates heat. It's crazy. It's beautiful. I'm gonna warm my buns real quick. I gotta warm my buns. Yeah, I mean, like, this is behind where I record, behind this, thin backdrop that I have hanging here. And once this is on for 2 or 3 hours, I turned it on this morning. Once this is on for 2 or 3 hours, it'll be like toasty down here. This whole bottom part of the house just gets toasty from this. And it actually, because the main house is built on top of this, right? So like the living room, kitchen, and bedrooms are all up there. It warms all of that from underneath because like heat rises, right? And so it makes the floors up there all nice and warm, and cuts down on the amount of central air, like central heating that we have to use, which is, expensive. Oh. Did you put the wood in the shed to dry out? No, I have not yet. It's on my list. It's on the list of things Paul's ego needs to do. It was snowing most of last week, so now that it's warming up a little bit, I feel like I'm just gonna leave it in there for a season probably because shit is wet. Tried to start a fire the other morning and it just fucking I failed. Okay, all the fucking wood was wet. Wood equal too wet. I need YouTubes. I'm gonna get you guys up on the screen so at least while I'm down here, I don't have to fucking go crazy trying to squint at you. Trying to squint. I'm just going to roll a J and let my toes warm up down here real quick, and then I'm going back out. Boom, 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 boom. Do, 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 do. Right. The crusty bits out. Will we ever be flushed in the new place? I mean, maybe. It might be something that needs to happen at some point. That is the one downside to down here. It's the one thing that I would add if I owned this house is I would turn part of this down here into a bathroom. The downstairs, or the den, I guess, as people call it in these split level houses, is got no bathroom in it. So I got to go upstairs to go poo or pee. Well, I don't have to go upstairs to go pee, you know what I mean? I do live in the woods. I could just walk out the fucking slider and drain the lizard right out there on the fucking forest floor, you know what I'm talking about? But if you got slippers, leave them by the heater. Oh yeah, that's a good point. You ain't got a shit bucket? I don't have a shit bucket, man. I don't. No shit bucket for Paul's ego. If you were around in the 1800s, what would your craft have been? Probably similar to what it is now, man. It would be an actor, be an agitator. Hello, Mr. Naughty Priest. Good morning to you, sir. I live in a tiny studio, so I don't have to go far to do anything. I actually like smaller apartments and stuff. It doesn't work really well when you have pets and everything like I do, but if I were a Mr. Solo Dolo, probably live in a pretty small place. At least while I was, saving up for maybe a more permanent joint. You have a favorite sample in hip hop? Yeah. It's a really used one, man. And this type of shit happens every day. You probably heard it a million times if you're a hip hop head. And this type of shit happens every day. That's MC Ricky D, aka Slick Rick, aka the Ruler Rick. Is that weed? No, sir. No, sir. Would never smoke the devil's lettuce. Ever. In a billion years would I ever smoke the devil's lettuce, sir. I don't do that. And I would thank you to not implicate that I do that, okay? Because it's just incorrect. I would never in a million years smoke marijuana. Okay. I think marijuana is for losers. Yeah, I'm going to cook a very, very traditional Italian meal tonight, and this is my dried oregano for that meal, okay? And I'm just making sure that it's nice and finely ground so that I can load it up into this little spice delivery system that I've got. This is just for like wrapping up your spices until you're ready to use them. You kind of pack them into these little paper tubes here, is what you do. So you take your oregano, right? I'll just show you guys. I mean, like, people love to learn things, right? You take your oregano, right? You load it up like that. And you get a little cardboard tube and you kind of tamp the oregano down at the bottom there, right? You want to make sure that you pack this part of the oregano really tight. This bottom part of the oregano needs to be tight, but you're going to want to like not be as crazy with it as you build up that oregano. So I'm going to put another load of oregano in here, right? And this time, see, I'm not going to put a whole lot of pressure on it. I'm just going to tamp it down a little bit like that, you see? So I've almost got this. This is about half full of oregano now. And it'll definitely be ready for me to sprinkle on my pasta pomodoro tonight that I'm making. Pasta puttanesca. You know, you're going to need a tube of freshly ground oregano like this. See, it's starting to take shape now. It's starting to get pretty full. I'm going to need quite a bit of oregano tonight, though, so I'm going to go ahead and pack it all the way to the gills. I'm going to get as much oregano in there as we can because, you know, I mean, like, I don't know about you, but when I'm cooking, you know what I mean? When I'm cooking, there's no such thing as too much oregano. You know what I mean? No such. Whoa. There we go. And now what I like to do is I like to inspect it. So once I've got my oregano rolled up into my little receptacle here, for I like to, and you know, this part down here has no oregano, so I like to put it in my mouth. And I like to use a cigarette lighter to just kind of. Oh no, the oregano caught on fire. Shit. The oregano's burning, dude. It won't stop. I'm trying to. What do I do? How do I get this oregano to chill the fuck out, man? Keep inhaling to put it out. Yeah, it seems like it's going out. Slowly but surely. It seems like it's gonna go out eventually. Wow, man, I can't believe I did that. I just had a twitch when I was inspecting my oregano tube. I can't believe I did that, man. That's never happened before. Of course, the streamer fucking disease, right? Damn, man. Paul, favorite sci-fi movie ever? Aliens. The second one. Aliens, not Alien. Although Alien is really good. Aliens. It's weed. Dude, I just got done telling. Don't call me a fucking loser, okay? This is oregano. And I accidentally lit the tip of my oregano tube on fire. And I'm trying to put it out, but you're being an asshole about it. You like Trump? No. No. Let me tell you what. If Trump wasn't the president, I'm going to tell you what would happen right now. I see Trump out in public, dude. I walk up to him, right? I stand right in front of him with my hands like this. And I wait, right? And he goes, excuse me, could you get out of my way? In a suit, before he finishes, I slap that big jowly face of his. And I go, what'd you say to me, motherfucker? I know. What's happened? That's right. Test nuts. Test nuts, you get a fucking grade, bro. That's what I do to Trump right there, dude. That's what I do to Trump. You didn't do none of that? Dude, I do every bit of that, punk ass little bitch, dude. Trump ain't got shit on me, bro. Trump ain't got shit on me. I whoop his ass if I catch him in public, bro. Catch me in the street. Catch me in the street. Worst impression ever. I disagree. I disagree. Paul Zigo's got the best impressions. I know impressions. Trust me, I know impressions. Paul Zigo's got a lot of good impressions. You'd lose breath after 10 seconds. Luckily, that motherfucker be on the floor in 3, huh? Luckily, that motherfucker would be on the ground, bleeding out of his nose in 3 seconds, huh? How much wind do you think I need to knock that big fat motherfucker out? Huh? I'll whoop his ass. I'll whoop Trump's monkey ass all over the fucking place in 3 seconds. K.O. Punk ass. Hey, Paul, we met at 2016 DP Meetup. Oh, cool. Which one? On the 16-bit one? Or Albuquerque? We did Albuquerque in 2016. We did... Or was it LA? We did LA. I know we did LA in 2016. The LA meetup. Oh, so the OG meetup. Damn, son. Where'd you find that? I'd love to see you try and slap Trump. I'd love to see Trump step up and fucking receive it. Trust me. I'm not the one that hides behind the fucking 18 layers of fucking, Secret Service and shit. I'm out here. He knows where to find me. He knows where I'm at. You know what I mean? I'm not ducking him. I got no security with me. You see? I jaw-jack Trump. You can catch me in the streets, though. He knows where I'm at. He knows where I stay at. He knows where I stay. No doubt about that. He knows right where I stay. No doubt. No questions. Good morning, baby. You found the coffee? All right, good. Yes, I did. It's your breakfast day. On brecky wacky whack.
Did he go down with you this morning?
He did. He did.
He wasn't coming with me.
Yep. He did his usual tour, which is come outside with Dad, go poop. Dad lets him back in. Go lay back down.
Yeah.
Go back to bed. Trump doesn't give a fuck where you stand. What? I was just telling people that if Trump wasn't president and I caught him in the street, I would beat him up. And they're telling me, no, I wouldn't. You know?
I mean, he's so unbalanced. All you gotta do is just
Yeah.
be a timber.
I mean, like, his whole torso is like hanging in space. So, yeah, you know. I think it'd be pretty fucking simple, but. Did any classic movies come out of the 70s you can recall? I mean, it's hard for me because, like, decades before I was born, it's hard for me to nail which movies are from what. But a lot of, like, there's a lot of really good movies from the 70s, like the Hammer Dracula slash World of Darkness type of films. So, like, the Hammer Draculas were being made during then, and those are always good fun. I mean, they're not great, but you can't go wrong with a Dracula. You know what I mean? The 70s. I'm trying to think. Like the Deer Hunter made in the 70s. There's quite a few 70s movies. It's just I don't identify them with the decade as strongly as I do like with the 80s, 90s, 2000s, etc. Taxi Driver, Deer Hunter. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of really great films. Raging Bull, I think, is the 70s. No, Raging Bull is early 80s. Godfathers were the 70s, right? Scarface was early 80s. I think all of the Sergio Leone westerns, so like Good, Bad, and the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think all of those were made in the 70s. Carrie was made in the mid-70s. Yeah. Carrie.
There's definitely a lot of really classic horror in the 70s. There were a lot of tropes were set.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest with you, and this is maybe just because it's my favorite genre, but I feel like you could say that about every decade. I feel like every decade is kind of like the spice in a decade's movies has always been horror. You're always going to find probably like more horror movies that are interesting and watchable and boundary pushing than you're going to find other types of films in every decade. That's why I love horror so much. Love the soundtrack from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah. Isn't it Enrico Morricone? I think is the name of the guy that did the soundtrack for that film. I might be wrong about that name. I just think that's the name. Amityville Horror was the 70s. Amityville Horror is an ass movie, though. It really does suck. Dude, I sat down and watched that movie with TJ when we first became friends. We were just kind of chilling at TJ's house. And we decided to watch the Amityville Horror, and it sucked. It was like one of the scariest things that happens in the movie is a cat jumps in front of a window, goes it's like it's literally just like the world's most lame haunted house tropes. It's like let's just put it this way. They did a much better job with the whole kind of Earl and Eileen Warren or whatever kind of demon hunting thing in the more modern movies. Because that Amityville movie is ass. And then there was a more modern remake with fucking Deadpool in it. That's even worse, if you can believe it.
I think probably the problem with Amityville is it was sticking close to the book, probably in that first release that was popular. So I think they were just recreating the book. Books don't always
Well,
have
it's
enough
not.
intrigue.
I agree that like here's the thing. It happened in the 70s before the gore explosion,
Yeah.
before so like it's just very tame. And the book is probably pretty tame too. I haven't read the entirety of the Amityville Horror, but the book is probably pretty fucking tame too, I would imagine. And they needed to spice that shit up.
And these modern remakes of that couple, they
They
take the rails off. They just do whatever they want.
Yeah, well they figured it out. I don't know why they don't go back and do an Amityville movie now. It's like they've
It might have
done.
been like a rights
It
thing.
probably
or something.
is, yeah. It probably is just a rights thing. I don't know why. See, in my mind, if I owned the rights on some dead ass franchise like Amityville, right, still has some name recognition, but you're not making money with it.
Mhm.
And somebody was like, "Hey, I want to purchase the rights," I would negotiate myself a percentage of the fucking profits, and I'd say, "Go fucking nuts."
Mhm.
I don't understand why people don't want to make money because it's just like mutual money.
Yeah.
You own this dead franchise. Somebody wants to license it and give you a fucking cut of the profits. You get a big fucking sack of money. They get a big sack of money. Everybody's happy.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean the '70s had some pretty big players. They had Alien,
Mm-hmm.
Nosferatu, Tales of a Vampire,
Yep.
The Exorcist.
Yep. That's some heavy hitters right there.
Yeah.
Just alone.
That's what I was saying. Like, there's like some really big hallmarks in the '70s.
Mm-hmm. The Omen.
Yeah.
It's all for you, Damien. How many the Exorcist movies have they made? They've made a lot. Well, there's 1, 2, and 3, and then they've done a couple of like reboot attempts. I think, or maybe not reboot is not the way, like a spin-off attempts, I guess. It ain't working. It's not landing.
They did The Exorcist Believer last year. I don't know if you had any interest in it.
No. I stopped caring about the Exorcist franchise after 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Poltergeist 3, dude. I'm gonna stand on this is one of those Paul's ego unpopular opinions. Poltergeist 1, Poltergeist 2, Poltergeist 3. Which movie am I more likely to pick up and watch all the way through? Ergo, which is my favorite of the Poltergeist movies? The answer is Poltergeist 3, the worst one. In a lot of people's minds, Poltergeist 3 is the worst one.
Are you talking about the one that's in a hotel, or was that 2? Or in the big apartment building?
Yeah, 3 is the one that's in the big skyscraper.
Yeah.
I liked 3 because it's over the top as fuck. And the setting is different. Like, haunted skyscraper. Cool. Like, it tried something different, even if it didn't succeed. And that makes it more watchable to me. Like, dude, Poltergeist is undeniably like a good movie, an influential film, but try and watch that motherfucker now. It's dry as a cat turd, bro. That movie is just... You know what I mean? I'm sorry. So Poltergeist 3. Yeah, the effects in Poltergeist 3 are awesome. It's got some genuinely like disturbing and scary imagery in it. The setting of it is kind of unique amongst ghost stories, at least up until that point. It's good. It ain't the best, but if you're gonna watch a Poltergeist movie, that's the one. I'm telling you, it's the one. The other two, Poltergeist 2 is better than 1. But it's also just kind of like, I don't know what it is, but it just has not aged well for me. Part when Kane kills Tangina through the mirror, dude, or like, yeah, and then like he kills Tangina through the mirror, leaving that like mummified corpse of her, and then the teenage girl comes crawling out of it. Remember, she busts out of it. Dude, it was crazy, bro. It was crazy. Poltergeist 1, I thought the movie should have ended 20 minutes before it did. Yeah, that's very common in films, though. A lot of movies do not know where to end. And so the end, like the rising action, the climax and the falling action are all really well done, but for some reason the conclusion just eludes people. And they just don't know how to just give people what they want and end. Some movies really do know how to end. You want to know which movies, like, I feel like are perfect in the way that they end, right? Like they know exactly where to end. And this is a weird franchise to invoke in this, but I think it's absolutely true. Okay. Alien. Those movies, very little filler towards the end, and it actually informed like what filler there is in Aliens at the end that I think I could cut, actually informs Alien 3 or Alien Cubed or whatever. So Aliens is a franchise, but even more so, I think, is the Escape from New York, Escape from LA movies. Those movies both end, I don't remember exactly what, but they both end with some fucking meathead action hero quip from Snake Plissken, and then it just cuts to the credits.
Yeah.
There's no like 6 months later. You know what I mean? None of that shit.
Well, they wanted to be a machine. They wanted leaving you waiting for more.
Right.
Did they do one after those two or no?
Unfortunately, no, but
they could have just pick up right where they left off.
They could.
Which actor was that again?
That's God, what is his name? I'm just brain farting his fucking Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell?
Yeah. He is old now, but he still looks like a badass. Like he was in Hateful Eight. Yeah. He was the hangman and John Ruth the hangman in Hateful Eight. So he still looks like a badass. Dude, if Sly Stallone at 70 something
still doing his
can go kill a whole Mexican cartel.
Yeah.
Okay, well fair enough. Then Snake Plissken can do one last ride, dude.
Yeah.
But the question is, he's already escaped from New York. He's already escaped from LA. Where's he going to escape from now? Chicago?
What if they did international, like Escape from Tokyo or something?
That would probably make more money. Escape from Beijing would probably make the most global money, you know? Escape from Kansas doesn't work, you know? They've got to maybe Escape from London. That one might be kind of cool because London's like seedy reputation. I don't know. That's I think the tough part.
Yeah, because you're right. LA and New York both had extremely seedy reputations at that point, especially.
Right, and they were able to like capitalize on that, and they're also like, you have to admit, probably the two most iconic cities in the world.
Yeah,
pound for pound. You'd be hard pressed. And so they were able to use all the tropes that exist because of those cities in funny ways in the movie, populate them with characters that seem like they would be from that area, so you can make social commentary on those big, giant populations and how crazy they are. Right? It's like, what other place fits that, I don't know if there is one. So they'd have to do like, I know Escape from New York was not shot anywhere near New York. You say it's East St. Louis. I didn't remember that. But that's the point, though. Like, the setting is the setting.
Yeah.
set in New York. You know what we're about to do? Because I feel bad. We're about to turn on the monkey button. We're about to turn on the monkey button. Let's see. Yep, subscribers only. There we go. Monkey button engaged. Hoorah! The Escape series is so essentially 80s. Well, it isn't though, because it's 80s, right? Escape from New York was an 80s action film. Escape from LA was a 90s action film. So it kind of absorbs its decade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what's holding it back. I think it's, do we put him back in New York?
Well, I think too it was near future, so that's the trouble. Is like now it's past whatever date that was.
Sure. So it would be a different, like, maybe even a more Mad Max-ish kind of environment.
It'd be like a different universe almost.
Yeah, maybe so.
So maybe that's why they were hesitant. It's like, all right, we passed our near future date.
Well, at the end of Escape from LA, Snake hits the button that like resets humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Like he hits the button that explodes the fucking EMP satellites and fries all of our technology and shit. So you'd have to set it, 30 years after all of that.
But that's already now.
Oh.
I think that's the trap they did. They did too near of a near future.
Got it.
And then they felt like, oh, what do we do now?
Yeah. How do we do this? Snake hit the monkey button. He did. Wish the Halloween franchise would have stuck to telling individual stories without Michael Myers. It became mundane. I never, look, dude, but I'm not the guy to talk to about slasher movies. I'm just, of the different genres and flavors of horror films that there are, slasher is my least favorite. That doesn't mean that there are not a lot of fun slashers. There are. But I'm much more attracted to psychological horror, existential horror, dream logic kind of horror, the more kind of like supernatural stuff, ghosts and demons and that type of thing really speaks to me more than a big fucking yoked dude in a rubber mask, running around with a butcher knife. As scary as that would be to experience, for me, there's a little bit more meat on the bone with those other genres I mentioned or those other subgenres that I mentioned than slasher. That's my big critique of it, is like, what boundaries is it pushed? How is it functionally changed or morphed or grown as a genre? Like, how is it, like, there's no, I feel like if you, like, maybe it would be a fun thing to argue with TJ about, because I know he's real passionate about slasher films. I mean, of course, there's no, like, real argument there. It's just an opinion-based thing, different strokes for different folks and all that. But sometimes that's a fun thing to argue out, Just like, what would you see as the growth of the slasher genre from the late 70s archetype to now? Right? How has it changed? How is it fundamentally different? I think that would be an interesting conversation. Maybe I'll try and provoke TJ into that argument tonight. We do a lot of banter at the top of onion nuggets, and then in the middle of onion nuggets, and then at the end of onion nuggets. It's a bantery show, and so maybe I'll bring it up at the top of the show. We'll talk about the slasher genre. Because yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like something that where either one of our minds are going to be changed. I guess that's not the point. Our personal feelings on the genre notwithstanding, like hashing them out is the fun part for me. Oh yeah, toast my buns. Toast, toast, toast my buns. I'm gonna get a Metal Gear movie instead of Escape from New York because that snake is more popular. I mean, that snake would not exist without Snake Plissken. Like, you realize that Solid Snake is an homage to Snake Plissken and other 80s action stars. So, you know. Yeah. Hello. You could make a rage bait episode why slasher films are obsolete. Oh, yeah. I could do that. I don't know, though. I feel like when I sit down to make an episode, right? I very rarely have the impetus to antagonize the other guys. I like antagonizing. I really do. I like antagonizing my co-hosts. But I also realize that you can only antagonize people in good humor so much. You know what I mean? You gotta, like, it's fun. It's like for me doing. When I started doing podcasting, I did DP, and then now doing Onion Nuggets all these years later. For me, the show is almost primarily an invitation for me to indulge my more puerile humor and my more basic mindset. It's like an invitation to dump my id. And I really enjoy it. I really do. I really like doing it. And I think more people should do it because it's incredibly cathartic and fun to do. But it requires people to do certain things that I don't think a lot of people are comfortable with, right? So like not genuinely to the best of your ability, not caring what other people think about you and say about you. I mean, you have to have a certain element of that to do it, I think. Oh shit. Bloop. Oh yeah, dude. The show's gonna be cool today. You think there'll be an increase in AI horror ghoul? Like, what do you mean? Like, horror movies entirely fashioned by AI, or horror movies that are made with generative AI, prompted and arranged by humans? Doing a special show today. I don't know. I don't know if it's really special. been getting AI to write books for me. Cool. That's kind of neat. The whole world needs to agree on some ground rules about AI in general because it's getting out of control. I actually, like, well, I'm of two minds on that, Hugs. On one hand, I agree with you. There need to be rules and regulations governing it. Although I think the types of rules and regulations that I think need to exist are not what most people are talking about. We'll get back to that. And on the other hand, I feel like fuck it, let it off the leash and let's see what happens because we're not doing well. Like to argue that human leadership has been a good steward of this planet is to ignore the horrifying damage that we've done to the ecosystem and to one another. Unleash it, baby. Unleash it. Could it be worse than what this is? Let's see. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's where I kind of like, that's where my mind exists when it comes to this, like, because I see what's happening like everybody else does. I mean, the complexity, the capabilities of these AIs are just astronomically increasing every time there's a new release. Like we watched the Will Smith eating spaghetti thing, and now, you know, when you ask an AI to make Will Smith eat spaghetti, it just looks like Will Smith eating spaghetti. It's fucking crazy how much it's moved just in like 2 years. So, you know, from my perspective, I think that I don't know. I vacillate. It's like unleash it, regulate it. But the types of regulations I think that we need to centralize are nobody's talking about it because everybody's so boomerish on it. The regulation that's really needed with AI is at a certain point we've got to decide when we start treating it like a being and not like a creation because we're not making a fucking pig. Even that has ethical implications, right? We're making a fucking thinking being. And at what point are we going to stop pretending like it's a commodity and start codifying what its rights are and how we treat it as a sentient thing? And I think people are fucking behind on this by 20, 30 fucking years, to be honest. Most people that talk about this. No one is really considering such regulations outside of the US. I don't even think within the US those regulations are being considered. Can a machine feel? Great question. Great question. I think we're racing towards a point where that question needs to be answered. I'm not saying it's currently conscious either. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying at some point in this rapid expansion of capability and complexity, we're going to have this conversation. And I think it's better to have it now in the early days, quote unquote, right? Than it is going to be to start having it 30 fucking years from now when this thing is fucking insane and out of control, right? We're still behind on human rights, bro. Fuck all the, micro groups and shit. We're behind on human and animal rights, clearly. And the world is dying because of it. People are fucking just like, dude, the last 2 years, 3 years have been some of the bloodiest since like World War II, bro. Know how many fucking people have taken the dirt nap just in war and famine and secondary causes and shit? We're not doing well, guys. So, I don't know, man. I don't know at what point we start taking it seriously or whatever, but I'm an advocate for now. You know, in my limited capacity, I'm not a fucking developer, I'm not an AI expert or anything. I'm an empathetic being, and I think that like if we're gonna use this thing the way we're using it, and we're gonna continue to add complexity until it becomes a moot point whether this fucking thing is sentient, we need to know how we treat it. We need to solidify what its rights are as a fucking conscious being. We can't just ignore that. What is OpenAI and why does Elon Musk want to take over it? OpenAI is a nonprofit AI research company. And it was founded by, I can't remember the name of the dude that now owns it, that guy and Elon Musk. Elon Musk exited OpenAI and sold his part of the business and came to a settlement or whatever and left the business completely in 2021. And then Elon, since then, bought Twitter and started working Grok and all of that shit, right? And now OpenAI wants to become a privately held company or a publicly traded company. It wants to become a for-profit company and not a non-profit company. And that represents a huge conflict for Musk because Elon has his fingers in a lot of AI pies. OpenAI is a huge, huge conglomerate, and if it goes for profit, it's going to be directly competing with him in a way that it currently isn't. There you go. Right. I mean, of course, he wants it. He wants it because he wants to acquire it and fold it into his company so that he can solidify his position as the top AI guy, right? If OpenAI is allowed to, independent of him, just go public and become a for profit company, then it becomes a massive competitor to him, right? Do you think that the Silk Road guy that got pardoned should get all his ill-gotten Bitcoin back? No. No. I mean, to be honest with you, dude probably shouldn't even have been pardoned, so he should be happy with whatever the fuck he got. And that should be that. Yeah. You already are one of the luckiest motherfuckers in the world. Don't be like grousing about your fucking Bitcoin and shit, dude. Take the W and walk away with it because, you got fucking hella lucky. Oh, there's all kinds of crazy shit on the Silk Road, right? Like murder for hire shit, human trafficking, all kinds of drug trade. I don't really have a problem with the drugs, to be honest. But yeah, there was a lot of crazy shit going on the Silk Road. So, like I said, the dude probably should not have gotten out. Ulbricht would relinquish any ownership of a newly discovered fund of 50,676 Bitcoin worth nearly $5.35 billion seized from the hacker. Yeah, fuck that. Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, this dude probably has a couple of little rat holes with a few Bitcoins in it. You know, a dude like that doesn't keep all his eggs in one basket. He probably got some secret wallets out there that he's fucking stashed away. You know, got a couple Bitcoin here, couple Bitcoin there. He'll be all right. Wonder what the connection between that guy and Trump for the pardon. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of a weird one for Trump to step in and do. But whatever. I guess scumbags watch other scumbags' backs, maybe, would be a good explanation for that. Anywho, I'm done. I will see you guys later on Onion Nuggets.